Hi y'all, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today guys, we are going to take a walk down memory lane and we're going to take a look back into 2021 and my favorite makeup items of 2021. Do I still enjoy them? Who's to know? Let's get into it. All right guys, so just to give you a preview, I am wearing all of the items, with the exception of one, and we'll get into that, that were my favorite items of 2021 as far as makeup beauty products. So I am wearing the foundation, the blush, the bronzer, the eyeshadow palette, the lipstick, the mascara, the highlighter that I'm wearing. I wouldn't say that it was a fave, but it was probably my most used, and it was probably my most used because it is one of the most useful highlighters in my collection. So yeah, and we'll go down the list line by line. So first up, let's talk about foundation. I mentioned this foundation in my recent video about whether or not I was going to keep this, and I said that I needed to try it out again because the last time I'd worn it I wasn't really happy with how it looked on my skin, and I was like, do I not enjoy this? Has my preference changed? Has my skin changed? Has the formulation changed? What's going on? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give this another shot. So I've worn this a couple of times, handful of times in the last week or so, and I'm wearing it today, and I have to say guys, I was wrong. It still slaps. I was so wrong. Maybe it was just an off day. Maybe my skin was having a moment. I don't know. But I've been wearing this and I'm just like, she still slaps. It's a beautiful foundation. It's a beautiful foundation. I don't know what I was thinking. It's not going anywhere. I fell back in love with this. I've worn it and I'm just like, she real party. She stays. And she's for me a formulation that generally speaking I'm not a fan of as much anymore. It's a bit more higher, it's got a little bit higher coverage than most of the foundations that I reach for nowadays. It's more of a natural matte finish than like a natural satin or, you know, glowy or luminous, but she still slaps. She still slaps. I love her. I don't know what I was thinking. You stay girl. Oh, and by the way, this is the Stellar Beauty Limitless Foundation. I've talked about this many times and I love it. It is slept on and I had fallen asleep on it, but I've woken up and I've remembered the beauty that is this foundation. Let's talk about concealer. Now, this concealer that I would have chosen as my 2021 fave and applied to my face would have been my Pat McGrath concealer, but that concealer I didn't want to put on my face anymore. It's expired. I'm not wearing it. Instead, I'm wearing a new one that I'm testing out and I will show it to you. It is the Kofi concealer in Mango Drop. So I've been using this and trying to get to know it a little bit better. I've worn it pretty much every time I've done my makeup, I've been wearing this. So yeah, this is what I'm wearing. I haven't decided how I feel about it, but I wanted to show it to you because I'm not using my 2021 fave, but I am using a new one. You may want to know what that is. This is it. Moving along, let's talk bronzer. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I started my channel last year in the fall of last year. I am obsessed with the NARS bronzing cream. The NARS bronzing cream, okay? And when it first came out, it only had 2 shades. It had, or did it just have 1 shade? It might have been just one. It might have been just one. I can't remember. But the shade that I have is the OG. So this is the original one in the shade Laguna. And this is what it looks like. And it's quite light and more cool tone. And I haven't used this one specifically yet, again, because I've been using the other one that they came out with this summer, which is a better, warmer tone, better for like summer skin Amira. But we're getting to winter skin Amira and I might start using this one again. But this is the original, the OG Laguna. And I will show you what the newer one looks like. So even the cap is a little bit different, I think. This one is more gold and this one's more like... So this is Laguna 3. And this is the OG Laguna. And you can see the difference here, but both of these tones actually do work for me. This one looks actually more cool on camera than it is in real life. And this one actually looks warmer in real life than it is on camera than it is in real life. That's funny. But yeah, I love both of these. I'm obsessed with the NARS Bronzing Cream, and I'm still obsessed with the NARS Bronzing Cream. Like that hasn't changed, y'all. I'm wearing it today. I've been doing my makeup. Decided to do my makeup these past 2 days how I used to do my makeup, and I might do a video about that, about like my 2020 2021 makeup like routine and techniques, which have changed quite a bit in 2022. But I did it how I used to do, which I would put a cream bronzer, and then I set my face, and then I layer a powder bronzer over, which is what I did today. And I forgot how much I love that. It slaps. So this is like 2021 makeup routine. Amira here as well, talking about her 2021 favorites. But yes, this is still a fave, and I have it in 2 colors now. It slaps. It continues to slap. I continue to reach for it. I highly recommend this brand's bronzing cream specifically, and their powder bronzers. I think NARS has some of the best bronzers on the market. Like I have the powder bronzer, I have the cream bronzer. This brand, NARS's brand of bronzers, top notch. But I specifically recommend these, especially if you are someone who's getting into like cream bronzers and you're a little afraid. I think this is a really great one because they are highly pigmented, so you only need a little dip dab. They blend beautifully, and if you put too much, you can actually just blend it out with your finger. That's how user-friendly and how fluid, and when I say fluid, I don't mean like in texture, but I just mean the way that you're able to manipulate the formula. This formulation is, and I think this is the best cream bronzer on the market. I said what I said, and I'm glad that they brought it back permanently. And there are other shades. So if you are deeper than me and you want to try this, there is I think there's a Laguna 4 and a Laguna 5. So they've really padded out the collection and in the range rather, and there's a shade for everyone. Did you think this wasn't going to get mentioned for 2021 faves? I mean, this is an all-time fave, but come on now. Pat McGrath, Divine Blush, Desert Orchid. I'm wearing it today. The glow. I mean, I have some highlighter on, but like the glow here is all the blush. It's all the blush. It's a stunning blush. You guys know how I feel about this blush. Yes, it's still a fave. Yes, I still reach for it. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's my all-time favorite blush. And then let's talk highlighter. So I have a lot of powder highlighters, and I will say that in 2022, I haven't used my powder highlighters all that much. But in 2021, I was going through this phase where I was really looking for highlighters that were there, but weren't there. Do you know what I mean? Like I wanted the highlight, but I didn't want any specific like crazy shades, or I wanted something that was going to give the glow without trying to be the star of the show, that would blend in with the rest of the look. And surprisingly, I've talked about how I feel like this brand is overrated and overpriced, and I do still stand by that. But I will say that this particular product, it's pedestrianness, this sounds terrible, its blandness, its non-descriptiveness comes in handy. It comes in clutch. And that is the Tom Ford Sheer Highlighting Duo in Reflects Gilt. And let me show you what it looks like. And I use this shade here. I don't really use this shade. I don't know who this shade is for. It is incredibly pigmented for a highlighter. Like it leaves a cast on my skin. So I'm like, if it's leaving a cast on my skin, it's probably gonna leave a cast on someone lighter than me. I don't know. I might try. I've only swatched and used it once, and I wasn't that impressed by it. But the top, this top shade here, this one is the shade that I reach for all the time, and it's what I'm wearing today. And when I say nondescript, do you see what I mean? How I just have this like nice highlighter glow. Like it just kind of looks as, it's golden, but it's just a glow. It's not screaming highlighter. It's this one. And that's why I like it. And I wore it a ton in 2021, and it was a 2021 fave, even though I was like, I don't know, I don't really like Tom Ford. This particular product, I recommend. It's overpriced. And I feel like if you looked hard enough, you could definitely dupe this out. But I purchased this for science and for data because I wanted to know what the big deal was about Tom Ford. I still don't know what the big deal is about Tom Ford, but this is a good highlighter. I don't know, for some reason, my brain went to my 2020 fave because I've been wearing it a ton lately, and that is the Gucci satin lipstick in Penny Beige. And then I remembered, damn, no, that was 2020, because this is all a blur. I mean, for me, 2020 to 2022 is all 1 year. It's all been 1 year, guys. It feels like if chronologically, it may not be, but it's been just one long year. I don't know if you knew that. But my actual 2021 fave was my Lisa Eldridge Velvet Lipstick in Cinnabar, which is on my lips today, along with its matching lippy pencil or lip pencil. And this is what it looks like in the tube. It's stunning. And I recently talked about my other makeup faves, like some OG faves. And I talked about Velvet Dragon being my favorite Lisa Eldridge lipstick. And it is. But I also talked about how Cinnabar is like her more adult, more mature sister. And I feel like if you watch that video and you saw the swatch of that lipstick and then you're looking at this, you can really see what I mean. It's a bit deeper, it's a bit richer, it's got a little bit of oomph to it. It just is a more mature version of Dragon. It's deeper, it's richer in tone. It's got a little bit of rust to it. It's got a little bit of dirt thrown, a little dirt on it, a little sprinkle sprackle. I love it. I love it. And this is my favorite matte lipstick formulation, so that's just a given. I just love this formulation. But this particular color, this was my favorite lipstick of 2021, hands down. Like, hands down. It's stunning. And I wasn't sure it was gonna vibe with this eye look. I thought they were gonna clash because it's not quite the same, but I don't know. I think it does. I think it looks really nice. I'm very happy with the combination. And speaking of eyeshadows, you know, I didn't do a ranking of my eyeshadows as far as like what was my fave. A lot of people do the rankings. I used to do the rankings on my blog all the time back in the day on my website, which is still up. I haven't posted in ages, but if you ever want to see it, it's still up there somewhere out there in the universe. I just renewed my domain, so it still exists. But I just didn't want to rank. But at the same time, I absolutely knew what number one would be if I were to rank. So I'm like, I should have just ranked them, because I like, there is definitely a number one on the list. And the number one for me was the Pat McGrath Holiday Mega Palette, which is Celestial Odyssey. This was the 2021 Holiday Palette. Don't dig your nail in there, remember. There you go. This is what it looks like. I talked a lot about this palette last year, and well into the new year, honestly. And I'm wearing it on my eyes today. This is what's on if you're wondering, oh, your eyes look amazing. I know, girl. This is what it is. If you want to know what exactly is on my eyes, I have this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, and then on my lower lash line, I have this one. And in my inner corner, I have the combo of this one and that one. That's what I have on. This palette, when I was doing my makeup today, because I haven't used this in a while, I freely admit, because I've had new makeup come into my life, and you know how it is when you have a lot of eyeshadow palettes. You have faves, and then they kind of get pushed to the side for the new things, but when you sit down and you pull your old babies out, you either say, oh my gosh, I still love you, you're amazing, or you say, why did I ever like this? And for me, when I sat down and did my makeup with that palette, I was like, she holds up. She slaps. This palette is stunning, and I do prefer this palette over this year's holiday palette, mega palette. I think this year's palette is beautiful. It's colorful, but I find this one, first of all, the mattes in this one are far better as far as the neutral tones. The colorful mattes in this year's one is beautiful, and I'm so glad she did color. They're beautiful. However, I feel like the neutral tones in that palette are kind of, I feel like they focus so much on making sure they got the colorful shades right, which makes sense because that's why people would buy that palette. That's why I bought it, was because it was the first time that Pat has really done those type of shades, and I wanted to see what they were like, and so they really put their foot in those shades. But the neutral tones kind of fell flat for me. I didn't find them to be as good of a quality as her mattes and her neutral mattes usually are. They weren't bad, it just wasn't what I am used to from her. This one, on the other hand, like butter. I mean, the thing that I love about Pat McGrath mattes for me is I feel like, you know, when I first started purchasing her stuff, I was afraid that they were going to be hard to use because they're very intimidating. They can be very intimidating color stories. Her mattes, like her and Natasha Denona have the best mattes on in the mainstream makeup market. Don't at me, I said what I said. And what makes them great is that they blend themselves. They practically blend themselves. And that's what happened. This eye look did not take long, guys. Even though I use all those shades, my eye, like I am obsessed with this eye look, and it took me no time at all. And the shadows just were like butter. They just blended. They just did what I wanted them to do. They went where I wanted them to go. They stayed there. They layered. The shimmers layered and blended and married together. Like, look at this. I have 2 shimmers here. Oh, it's just... Yes, this palette still holds up. Yes, it is still a fave. Finally, let's talk mascara. And I wanted to include this in my mascara ranking for this year, my favorite mascaras that I tried in 2022. And I was like, wait a minute, Amira, you didn't try that mascara in 2022. You tried it at the beginning of 2021 and you used it for that entire year. What is wrong with you? Again, 2020 to 2022 feels like one long year to me. I have a very hard time differentiating what year something was released in and what year I tried it, because it's all a blur. It's all a blur. But I did remember the no, Amira, it was 2021 when you first purchased this, and you wore this the entire well, not the entire, but from the moment I purchased it, this is basically what I was wearing. And it's my Bite Beauty Upswing mascara, which I am wearing today. I have one more tube of this, guys, and then I'm done, and I'm like very sad about it, but this is what I wore today because it was my favorite mascara of 2021. And that's what I'm wearing, and it's still, like I said, it holds up. I mean, I still use it. Of course it does. It holds up. It's beautiful. I put it on and I was just like, yeah. It wasn't like, oh my God. It was like, you know how when your faves just always come through, you don't always go, yeah. You just go, yeah. I knew you'd do that. I knew you'd be there for me in my moment of need. I knew you would gather me and hold me close. And that is what the Bite Upswing mascara always does. Same thing with the Pat McGrath palette. They come in clutch. They just do. So yeah, I'm kind of high-key obsessed with my look today. I don't even want to wash my face. I'm going to wear this. It's not that late in the day, so I'm going to wear this for the rest of the day probably. I'm supposed to be washing my hair, so I'm probably going to have to take it off to wash my hair, take my makeup off. But whatever. But until then, I'm going to keep this on my face because it's stunning, and this is a good makeup day for me. I mean, I don't feel like I have bad makeup days. I'm not like a bad makeup day, but you know, you have like exceptionally great makeup days. That's what today is for me. I'm feeling myself. I feel very, very pretty. All right, guys. So that was my 2021 favorites. Are they still faves? Yes, they are. Some of them I thought I'd fallen out of love with, and using them this past week or so has recommitted me to the relationship that I have with them, which has been fantastic. It's always nice when you kind of there's something really comforting. As much as we love new makeup, and I do love new makeup, but one thing that I've learned in my makeup journey, my career, my love affair with makeup is that as much as fun as new makeup is to discover and to play with, what I often find myself doing, and ironically, especially when I've purchased a lot of new makeup, is that I find myself wanting to use my old makeup more. Does that happen to anyone else? I'm like, let me just reach back and see. And sometimes it's just to compare. Sometimes it's just because I'm not going through that phase of like discovering and figuring something out and not, you know, going through that. Do I like it? I don't know. Let me try it some more. It's nice sometimes to just reach for things that like, I know how I feel about this. I know that I love it. And I know what I like to do with it. I don't have to discover that, you know. For me, there are shades in the Pat McGrath palette that I always reach for that I love. This is why this look is the way it is. So yeah, I'm feeling myself today. I love my makeup, and I love this makeup that these products that I showed you, I still love them with my whole heart. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, and also let us know in the comments down below. What are some of the things that you purchased in 2021 that you still reach for and that you love? And what are some things that you don't love? Like, I know some people have done this video and there are things that they just don't reach for anymore. But for me, like my faves have held up, and that's really exciting for me to know that they still bang and I still reach for them. So yes, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.